ahead and go to the next slide and talk a little bit about what some of those differences are. So if I look at what you can do in Section Wizard and other kind of pre-existing tools versus what you can do with Application Hub and the no code page tool, some of the differences that jumped out at me. First of all, business rules are only available in Section Wizard right now. So if you're using business rules to apply any of that conditional logic to your pages, things like only show this field when X condition is true, or only show this field when Y condition is true, that functionality is not yet available with the new tools. Again, it will come, it will be there, but it's not there today. There's some minor differences, like the old run process button that you'd get if you linked a process to a section that's available in Section Wizard. That's going to work a little bit different with Application Hub. That's more comparable in terms of what you can do, but just a small difference. Some of the nice new features Creatio's added in the last couple of years, like the ability to quickly create new detail objects while you're designing a page. Again, not available right now in Application Hub, but I'm sure that will come. And, you know, again, you could work around that the same as you could in the old days with Creatio and Section Wizard, which is just create things in the right order, basically, and build your details first and then add them to your pages. But you know, it's something that I've really appreciated as they've added that to Section Wizard in the last year or two. And so I'm hoping to see that get added into the no code tool in the coming days. And the list page, you saw Anjum do some of the new functions on the list page, things like adding buttons, which is great. Some of the base list page functions seem to be missing in version 8.0. Things like basic filtering, user set column layouts, summaries. You're not going to see that right now in a section that you build using Application Hub. Again, I'm sure that's going to come in time. It's just not something you're going to see right now if you're starting to use the new tools. On the other hand, Application Hub has a bunch of really cool new functions. At the top of the list, it's just way more flexible. You've got so much ability to customize what your pages look like. If you've ever felt like you're just, you know, like you don't like the way the Creatio page is organized, you wish you had the flexibility to move things around a little bit more, this absolutely gives you that freedom. You can add tabs or not have tabs. You can have that right-hand column or not have that left-hand column or not have that left-hand column. You can put buttons anywhere you want on the page, charts anywhere you want on the page. So there's just a ton of flexibility built into this. It's really easy to add buttons. It's really easy to add labels anywhere on the page. So again, just giving you that flexibility to really design the page the way you kind of have it in your head or the way you want it to look. They've also got new chart styles available, so that'll mirror the homepage functions that they've added in the last year, where you've got like the donut chart, for example, and some of those other chart types that you may not have with dashboards and Section Wizard right now. Creatio is going to continue to chip away at this list of things that Section Wizard can do in Application Hub and No Code Designer can't do. In fact, they just in the last couple of days posted release notes for the version 8.01 release, and they've already addressed at least one of these things. I know I saw the ability for users to set the column layout on list pages is included in that version. So they are very much aware of these differences. They're working to address them. Again, it's part of that intentional gradual rollout plan that there's currently these differences. Anjum, can you go ahead and go to the next slide? So right now, if you're using version 8.0, you've got these two separate tools to kind of work with, and there's currently no ability to cross over between them. If something is built in Application Hub or Freedom Designer, whatever you want to call it, it can only be modified in Application Hub. You can't build it in Application Hub and then go make more changes to it in Section Wizard. And vice versa. Anything that's been built in Section Wizard right now can only be modified in Section Wizard. You can't take something that you've already built and go modify it using Application Hub and the Freedom Designer. That does currently include any standard objects, so like accounts or opportunities or cases, and any objects that you've already built before the 8.0 release. Again, long-term, that's going to change. Long-term, they need to make a way to kind of port those over. Those things that were built in Section Wizard will ultimately be transitioned to being modified with Application Hub and the Freedom Designer. But before they work on that transition, they're working first on that feature parity of making sure that the new tools can do everything the old tools could do, because they can't transfer it over and then have you lose functionality, basically. So hopefully that makes sense. Right now, basically, you have the option to choose, which tool do you want to use in a given situation, assuming you're building something new, or you're going to use the tool that was used to build that function. So if you're working with any of your standard objects or anything you've already built in Creatio, you're going to continue to use the existing tools like Section Wizard to work on those pages and those sections in the short term.